I want to, change to a slightly more abstract, or not even necessarily abstract, but a very different kind of question, which is, as this grows as a non-sovereign, sort of uncensorable digital store of value, as it's recognized as that. Do we see it being accumulated as a reserve currency? Do we see it emerging in the next 3 years as a balance sheet asset in more and more central banks? Do we think that China and Russia maybe already have Bitcoin on their balance sheet, but it's in some tucked away footnote or whatnot? I mean, we know the Russian Federation built their own mining infrastructure, and what are they doing with that Bitcoin? Is that a reserve? That's there, and how seriously are that reserve currency status is something that I think people who bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, walking into the space sort of said that's going to happen, and that was one of the most the things that was perceived to be just preposterous and ludicrous by anyone who is serious at all, but actually it might be happening right now. And yeah. geopolitical things, etc. I'd love to hear your thoughts on
there's what, $200 billion of Bitcoin out there today, right? I think that when you're already seeing public companies like MicroStrategy, which is very publicly put Bitcoin on their balance sheet, I have a hard time believing that state actors either are not already or will soon be doing so in the future. I think
they got to experiment with it at least to be like, what the hell?
Absolutely. Like, if anything, it's like a call option for them, right? And whether they're publicly doing things like building mining and infrastructure and things of that nature to support the asset or not, they're going to kind of have to be there because Bitcoin's infectious. Once you learn about Bitcoin, you kind of can't shut up about it, and then you talk about it to everybody else. And whether it's Russia or China or whatever it is around the world, the citizens of all of these geographies are using Bitcoin. I mean, it's explosive. So I have a hard time seeing how they could ignore it. Not to mention the fact that they are certainly glommed onto this idea of blockchain technology and the emergence of sovereign, central bank digital currencies and things of that nature, where they can actually have quite a bit more oversight and control of their own currency.
Yeah. Dan, what do you think? Reserve currency? Are we there yet? Not quite.
Yeah, I totally believe it will be a reserve currency, and it's entirely rational to use it as a reserve currency today. Certain countries are complaining about the dollar's, hegemony around the world. It's hard to change. There's no other currency, paper currency that's ever going to replace the dollar. But Bitcoin could. If you wanted to bet on the over/under on 3 years, though, unfortunately, I'd say over. I think central banks are very slow moving.
Yeah.
They've been talking about diversifying or deacquisitioning gold for like 20 years. And they only move like 3% of it. It's a very slow pace. So of all the things that are gonna happen, being a reserve currency might be one of the last ones.
Yeah. And that's maybe on the 20 to 30 year thesis, but there's pockets of activity, obviously, that are there.